right, trying to figure out if I can do this on my computer. I don't know. Not gonna work. That's fine. I'll just have to prop it up. All right, there we go. So tonight I was gonna go over just what I have in like my tackle box, kind of essentially right now. And so the main deal with that is just kind of going over what I take out when I'm going fishing. And be honest, I usually don't take out very much when it comes to lures when I'm actually fishing. I spend a lot of time preparing before I go out, and then I don't really take more than 1 or 2 boxes with me. At home, I have tons of stuff, but I usually only take out 2 boxes and then maybe 1 bag of soft plastics. So typically what I have is I just have this little bag, and I put maybe 8 bags of soft plastics in there, and that usually lasts me the day. But today I'm really just going to talk about hard baits. And one of my favorite things I own is this right here. It is a double-decker Plano box, and the reason I like it is that you can put a lot of stuff in it. It's really durable. I've never had a problem with it breaking. So in the top, I've got a couple different crankbaits, and then below I have here, this year it's all swim jigs and football jigs. So this box I always take with me, because I kind of treat it as the box that is like, this is what I'm going to be throwing on that given day. And then all my other boxes are, I might take them out, I might not. And the other thing I usually take out with me is my spinnerbait box when it gets later in the year. And I have 2 main different kinds of spinnerbaits. I got willow blades, and then I have turtleback spinnerbait blades from Venom Lures. Some of the other stuff I have just on hand, I have a box of medium crankbaits. Now these I never even take out. I will take some of them out of this box and put it in that bigger one when I actually go fishing, but that box never really goes with me, and I'll get into that in a moment. And then another box that I have is a bladed jig box. Now this one I'll typically take it with me. Just reading some of the comments. Yeah, I do narrow it down based on where I'm going. Now, where I'm at in Ohio, to be perfectly honest, a lot of the places I fish are quite similar. They're really not very different. When I say they're really similar, it's the water clarity is similar, and the bass tend to like similar baits. Now, there's 1 or 2 2 places I fish that the water is more clear, but a lot of the water in my area is muddy, so it's not really good if you have a lot of stuff for clear water in Northwest Ohio. Anyway, it's pretty much murky water at best. There are places with clear water, but a lot of those places frankly aren't very good fishing. All of the best places I know, it's not super clear, and it's not like muddy, but it's still pretty decent. Now, another thing I got as far as boxes, I have a lipless crankbait box, and then I have a top water box. I also have a jerkbait box, but I don't throw jerkbaits a lot. But this bladed jig box I pretty much take with me. So I have this, and then I have my little spinnerbait box. And those 3 things I always take with me. And then depending on the time of year, I might take the top water box with me. So that's really it. I try to keep it 2-3 boxes. And part of the reason for that is that I don't want to take a bunch of gear, because I'm the kind of person that will be, well, let me try this, let me try that. If I limit my options for myself, I spend more time fishing, less time changing lures. And another way I eliminate time spent not fishing is having as many rods and reels rigged up. I used to be the kind of person that would go out and I would have at best 1 or 2 rods with me, and that's when I shore fished, and that was for convenience. But I would take 30 different lures. Now, I wasn't really optimizing what I was throwing, but it was easy for just walking around. On the kayak, the nice thing is I have the ability to have 8 rods out there with me. And I can tell you the first thing I'm going to be throwing this year, more likely than not, is going to be some kind of crankbait on a medium action rod and a slower gear ratio reel. So I've basically 4 reels that I use when it comes to bait casting. I have the Ardent Apex Elite, I have the Ardent Apex Grand, and then I have the Ardent Vertex Contender, which is a new reel that I'm excited to use. And then I have 2, I have a Summit Hawk and a Summit Falcon. Those are higher gear ratio reels, techniques I don't use as much, but stuff I want to try out at some point. And other than that, that's just pretty much what I do when it comes to tackle. Now, I'll talk about some of the individual baits. Now, well, actually, before I get into that, for those of you watching and then those that might watch this later, I wanted to go over for the giveaway some of the big ticket items that I'll be giving away as a part of this. And so remember, there's going to be 3 winners in total, and each of the winners are going to get a pretty cool lure, and then I have a bunch of extras they'll get as well. So it's, like I said, it's about 10 lures a piece. But one thing, first one up, one person's going to get this Megabass lipless crankbait. Someone will be getting a Berkley Money Badger. And then one other person will be getting, let's see if it's here, a Z-Man Topwater Popping Frog. So those are separated out into 3 separate winners, and then the rest of the stuff you'll get like a mix match of some jigs, some hard baits, and soft plastics. So if you're entered into the giveaway, you have a chance of that. Right now, I think about 60 people are in, if I had to guess, based on comments. So that's pretty good. And I'm only 9 subscribers away. Now, I anticipate to hit that some point this week. I don't really know. But if you share and send my video going over the rules to other people and they sign up too, it could be over pretty quickly, or just a matter of one of my shorts hitting. It's random to me when one of those will get a bunch of subscribers. I've had a couple shorts in the past get me 13 to 15, and then I've had others get thousands of views with only 1 subscriber. So it's always very hit and miss. And my subscriber totals, like I said, with 590, probably 400 of them are from my short videos. But when I do these giveaways, I still get usually around 60 people that are subscribed that participate. So, and then participate every time. I was looking through comment history, and that was kind of cool to see that I've had people from beginning of this year all the way to last year that have commented and participated in previous giveaways. So they're sticking around. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool evidence for me to keep doing them. And it's a nice thing to do. I have extra stuff. I'm fine with sharing some of those things. Now, one other thing, when I do the actual giveaway, I'll probably do another live stream later this week when I hit 600, and I'll make an announcement before I do that so that more people hop on, is that there will be a 4th winner, and that'll be someone that gets on the live stream. So if you watch the live stream as it's premiering, you'll get a chance to win something then. So there'll be 4 winners in total. And with that, I anticipate there'll be less people watching the live stream. So you got a pretty high chance, if you're in there within the first 5 minutes, to get one of those. And for that, I'm going back and forth on what I'm going to give away. I'm kind of just looking around. For that, I might give away in the package. Still, I got monster bass medium diving crankbait. So whoever hops on, one of the first people to hop on the live stream, they're going to get one of those. That's going to be whenever I hit 600. It should be happening, like I said, pretty soon. I could randomly have a short pop off sometime. So without further ado, let me get into the different stuff I got in my tackle box this year. I'm pretty much all set on lures for the most part. I don't think I'm really going to add too much else outside of extras. Last year I went through a bunch of a couple different lures. And to start with, I have several gold crankbaits. I got a couple different brands. This is a Cotton Cordell. If you watched any of my really old videos from last year, you would have known I caught a lot of fish on a crankbait at the beginning of the year, and gold seemed to be the hot color. I know a lot of people that really like red early in the year, but I found gold has been pretty good for me too, and I think that's just the flash from just gold and silver are bright colors. They're going to get attention. What's something new I'm excited to try this year? If I had to pick one thing that I'm really excited to try more than anything else, it would be either Money Badger. I've just watched a lot of people catch a lot of fish on those. And then secondly, it would be this giant lure right here, which would be the Coal Shed from Berkley. I've never thrown big swim baits. I'm going to give it a try. Once again, seen a lot of people catch stuff on those. So those are two things I got. Another thing I have here, I have some Arc lipless crankbaits, another brand I like a lot. And then I have some other medium divers. These are the Fritz sides from Berkley, and that's pretty much what I got crankbait wise. Keep it simple color wise and style. If I got too much stuff, it's not going to be consistent with cranking. Then I have some swim jigs from First Gen. These are some top spin swim jigs. Pretty cool design there. Those will get some use. And then I have some more finesse jigs that I'll throw from Venom Lures. And then I got a bunch of football heads. Now, I have yet to catch a fish on a throwing or pitching a jig or flipping a jig or throwing a football jig. It's kind of one of those things that, like, when I tell people, they're usually a little surprised. It's one of the most, like, popular bass fishing techniques. I've also never caught a fish on a Wacky Rig Cinco. I know it's almost insane to say out loud, but those are the two of the most popular bass fishing techniques. And it's just not something. Maybe it's the patience that I don't have the patience for it. If I had any theory to it, I'm just a power fisherman by heart, and so sitting and trying to just like slow down is really tough for me, especially in a kayak. Now, I have done finesse jigs in rivers for smallmouth. I've done that plenty, and I've done pretty well with that, but certainly nothing to the degree. Now, next up, I got a couple comments coming in. Yeah, I want to throw bigger baits too, and that's the one worry is skunking, because just depending on where you're at in the country, it can be hit or miss for sure. And then, like when it comes to bigger baits, I throw spinner baits a ton, so I guess I'll go to those next. And I calculated it out last year. I think I had maybe 60% of the fish I caught were on a spinner bait. Something pretty crazy. I like certain lures a lot, but I was really surprised at how many. So the two styles I mainly throw are a double willow, or this one's actually a willow and Colorado mix. Those are good too, but my favorite is a turtleback, and I'll show you what the blades look like. They're not a Colorado, and they're not a willow leaf. They're just a different style, and my theory on why I do so well with that one is twofold. First of all, most people are throwing a double willow or a Colorado blade. So anytime you throw something a little different, it ups your odds. That's just my opinion based on my own evidence when I go fishing. And that brings my second point, which is why I throw a specific bladed jig. And that's because more people use the other kind. So when I'm throwing a bladed jig, 95% of the time, I'm using a slobber knocker from Berkeley. I just started using this last year, and I gotta say it has a unique action. But my favorite thing about it is the head design is completely different than a lot of the other bladed jigs. You'll see it's connected inside of the jig head. A lot of bladed jigs, it's connected to a ring or sometimes a split ring, and it just gives it a different action. Yeah, white and chartreuse for colors, those are always excellent. My three favorite colors when it comes to spinnerbaits have got to be green, as well as white or like a silver, and then also I can really go for a chartreuse if I'm pike fishing. That's always been a super good color for me when I've gone pike fishing. For bass, I tend to throw natural colors most of the time. Now, another thing with the slobber knocker that's different than a lot of bladed jigs I've found is they don't move around as much. They make a lot more racket. So you really know when the fish hit it. It's never a surprise. That's kind of a nice thing. And then the bait I like to throw on the back of it is the Power Stinger. They're really durable. I have yet to have one break. I've actually thrown some out just because they got old. I use them like 5 trips in a row. They just don't get like ripped apart. A lot of soft plastics, they make it a couple trips or a couple throws even, and they're done for. So I'm always shocked at how long those last. To me, yeah, that's what the primary trailer for the slobber knocker is. I use the Power Stinger. So this one right here, 4.25 is the size I like. Then I'll also throw a Donkey Snatcher. But that's my primary spinnerbait trailer. This one right here in the bluegill color. Probably almost all the time when I'm throwing a spinnerbait, I have a trailer on it. And I like the paddle tail for the spinnerbait, and I like a split tail for the bladed jig. That way when I'm out, I'm not throwing the exact same thing on everything. I find when you're not having a little variety, it can be kind of tough to get those different bites of fish are wanting different things. So those are kind of the main things I have hardbait wise, especially early on in the year. I don't really, obviously I'm not going to get into top water. Hardly fished top water at all last year. I didn't fish as much after June. I had a lot of things going on and I went to Canada. So a lot of my prime bass fishing this year was early. And this year I don't really have anything specific, so it'll be spread out. I'll definitely be trying some more techniques. So that'll be fun. And that's kind of the deal for hard baits. I'll do another live in a week or so where I'll do soft plastics. I did a little bit of that tonight, but I don't really have a ton of soft plastics I use. I keep it pretty simple there. Once again, I only use like 3 or 4 colors. I use green, I use purple, I use like natural color, and then I like sometimes like a little blue is good too. But I just listened to a really interesting podcast, one of the episodes of Tackle Talk, where they talked about what colors bass can see, and there's only a couple they actually can see. So small underspins, oh yeah, I mean, let's see if I just have one laying around. Yeah, so that used to be the only lure I used for years for bass fishing, and I've caught probably, I don't want to say 20, but I've probably caught 15 different species of fish in fresh water. But this little guy right here, this is a Roadrunner jig head, and to me, it is the most versatile bait there is for freshwater fish. I've caught everything from sunfish to pike to walleye to bass, just about everything except what it's made for. It's a crappie lure. I've never caught a crappie on it. I've caught every single thing else that swims in fresh water practically. I think I've caught a catfish on this. It just catches fish. The one bad part about it, I say, is it's really small. I don't like the bigger underspins. For whatever reason, I just don't think they track well on spinning gear. I like to throw it in spinning gear. It just never feels right. But the smaller one, it's money, especially in rivers. If you got small creeks and rivers, that's an absolute smallmouth killer, rock bass killer, white bass killer. I mean, it's just a great lure all around. Oh, but yeah, that's pretty much it for hard baits. I don't throw a lot else for bass. I have more stuff I throw pike and walleye wise, but as far as bass go, I keep it pretty simple. But it works, so I don't have any reason to change it up. I think if I had to pick one new thing that I've never thrown that I would like to try this year is a square bill. I've just never felt like I've been in a situation where I've wanted to throw one. There's like a lot of wood cover, but I am fishing a couple new lakes this year, so I'm gonna have a couple of them with me. I got this is a brand I really like for crankbaits. It's Arc. They're mainly known for their rods and reels, but their crankbaits are really nice. I've always been a fan of them the last 3 years. I think they're pretty sweet. But thanks to those that tuned in while I was live. If you're watching this later, make sure you share my previous video where I'm talking about the giveaway. We're pretty close. I hopefully hit it within the week, and if I do, I'll give those lures away. And one last plug, I'm doing a live at Fin Fur and Feather in Rossford this weekend for the podcast I started. And that's the Tackle Some Fishing podcast. Those videos will not be on this channel. It'll be on a channel. I'll share the links here regardless, and I'll have a playlist that has them all in it. But we're going to talk about lures, our 5 favorite just bass lures in general. Me and 2 of the other guys from Tackle, the tournament trail I in and help run. So flat banger, I will list that down. I'm always up to try new baits when it comes to anything that's a moving bait. I'll give it a shot. Last year was the first year I ever used a slobber knocker, so every year there's that one new lure that I seem to never be able to put down, and it was that last year, so I'll have to see. But thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll catch you for the next live. Hopefully I hit 600 this week. Whatever day it is that I hit 600, I'll probably do a live the next day, so be on the lookout for that, and thanks for tuning in.